Okay guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. In this episode, mareremind na naman tayo na kapag kayo po ay merong application, immigration-related application here sa Canada, make sure that everything you state there truthful. Okay, huwag kayong magsisinungaling. Lalo na kung yan ay information pertaining to your background, your work experience, anong ginawa mo like in the Philippines, yung mga ganyan. Kahit pa let's say makalusot, no, meron kang hindi dineclare or you just really outright misrepresented your work experience, for example. Sabihin mo nang kahit makalusot yan, nakuha mo yung iyong PR, naging citizen ka pa. Kapag ikaw ay malas-malasin at magkaroon ng dahilan ng Canada para tignan muli ang inyong file, okay, halimbawa may nagsumbong or whatever, pag tignan ang inyong file at mapatunayan na ikaw ay merong ginawang misrepresentation dun sa pinakauna mong application, kahit pa citizen ka na ng sobrang tagal, pwede po nilang bawiin ang inyong citizenship. Pwede nilang i-revoke ang inyong citizenship. It may be a rare occurrence, let's make that clear, but it does happen. Alright? I know nagkaroon na tayo ng episode before talking about how a Canadian citizenship was revoked after 17 years, yata, 17 years, dahil natuklasan na yung marriage pala, noong babae na tinanggalan ng citizenship, she engaged in marriage fraud. Yun yung naging dahilan para makapag-spousal sponsorship siya, nakuha niya yung PR niya, and then eventually became a citizen. Okay, natuklasan na marriage fraud yun. Imagine, after 7 years, binawi pa rin po ang kanyang citizenship. Ito naman, hindi po marriage fraud ito. At nirevoke ito after more than 2 decades of being a Canadian citizen. Okay, ito po ang kaso. Let me put up our title first. Ano ang kanyang naging misrepresentation? Well, it turns out, wait a minute, ayan, okay. Si Mr. Orantes, yan po ang kanyang apelido, Jorge Orantes. He got his Canadian citizenship in 1988 or 1987. Hindi po pala niya dineclare sa Canada ang kanyang naging background sa military. Sa Guatemalan military, where it turns out he was a high-ranking military official who was allegedly involved in a military operation that led to the killing of civilians in a village, basically villagers in Guatemala. And itong operation na po ito, well-documented na balita kasi nga ang daming napatay na mga tao doon sa village na ito. And it took place at a time when Guatemala was or had this parang internal armed conflict situation. So magkaaway yung military nito and some insurgent groups. Alright? O sige, puntahan natin muna ang... So that's the gist. Puntahan natin itong federal court ruling published February 5, 2026. So in this case, may dalawa pong agencies involved, yung IRCC and yung Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness. They are seeking a declaration that Mr. Sosa na lang pala ang tawagin natin. Ang pangalan niya, Jorge Sosa Orantes, but in the court decision, Mr. Sosa siya tinatawag. So they're seeking a declaration that Mr. Sosa, a former commissioned officer and member of the Caibiles, an elite special operations force in the Guatemalan army, obtained PR and citizenship by false representation or fraud, or by knowingly concealing material circumstances. Hindi raw dinisclose ni Mr. Sosa throughout the Canadian immigration process from the time he applied for PR in 1985 to entering Canada and becoming a landed immigrant in 1987 to becoming a citizen in 1992. Ayun, which had the effect of foreclosing or averting further inquiries. Dahil hindi niya dineclare yung kanyang military background, there were no further inquiries made. So dahil doon sa sinasabing involvement ni Mr. Sosa, doon sa military operation sa isang village in Guatemala, The ministers are seeking a declaration na siya ay maging inadmissible sa Canada dahil he violated human or international rights. Ayan, for committing an act outside Canada that constitutes a crime against humanity. This is based primarily on Mr. Sosa's alleged involvement in the horrific murder of men, women, and children by the Caibles that took place in the village of Las Dos Eres, Guatemala in December 1982. Reports call this incident the Las Dos Eres Massacre. If you Google Las Dos Eres Massacre, ito ang lalabas. So, tingnan niyo, ang daming documentation basically about that incident. Unsurprisingly, Mr. Sosa distanced himself dito po sa nangyaring military operation in 1982. Dinepensahan niya na wala siyang direct involvement doon sa operation. Ito ang sabi niya, Mr. Sosa denies being involved in the military operation at Las Dos Eres because he was performing his duty as a liaison officer of distributing sports equipment in village schools during that period. But then, magkaroon pala ng mga witness dito sa investigations into the massacre, and it said, a witness daw testified that this is absurd. Sabi dito, uncontradicted documentary and oral evidence clearly proves that Mr. Sosa was one of the officers in command of the operation at Las Dos Eres. Bibigyan ko na lang kayo ng brief, ng summary sa nangyari doon sa Las Dos Eres. So, di ba nga nangyari po yan sa panahon kung kailan merong internal armed conflict situation in Guatemala. Ang goal daw umano nung military operation na yon ay para bawiin ang ilang mga weapons na nakuha daw ng mga insurgent rebels at nandoon daw sa village na yan. But yun na nga, it ended up killing civilians, including women, children. And then what happened was, guys, wala rin pala silang nahanap ng mga weapons doon. Grabe, no? Ang nangyari pa, nung walang nakuhang mga rifles and such, the soldiers were informed that the mission had changed and they were ordered by their superiors to kill everyone in the village. Ay, ang saklap naman nito. Okay, so anyway, napatunayan po yan. And eventually, his citizenship was revoked. Okay, the court sided with the ministers of Immigration and Public Safety, and again, nirevoke ang kanyang citizenship after 20 plus years. Some might be asking what triggered the review of his file. Bakit biglang binuksan yung file ni Mr. Sosa after so long? Ito po pala ang nangyari. Bago pa po mag-apply ng PR sa Canada, by the way, refugee claim siya ha, sa Canada, bago pa yun, nag-file pala siya ng refugee claim din sa US. And it was denied, yung sa US una. Pero back then, dinisclose daw niya in some detail, hindi rin kompleto, yung kanyang military past sa Amerika. Kinlaim niya daw doon na siya ay isang military officer, pero hindi niya dinisclose daw yung participation niya sa Las Dos Eres. At dahil doon, na-reject din ang kanyang asylum claim sa US. After his failed asylum claim in the US, I think a year or two later, nagpunta naman siya ng Canada. Rather, nagpunta siya sa isang Canadian consulate in Canada, San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, para mag-claim naman ng asylum. Yun ang nangyari. Ito po yung part na yan, no? Sabi dito, the asylum claim was rejected in 1985 and Mr. Sosa was ordered to leave the country. 2 years later, in 1987, Mr. Sosa and his family, while still in the US and facing deportation, made a refugee claim to Canada. Sinagot naman daw umano ni Mr. Sosa ang lahat ng tanong noong officer na humarap sa kanya doon sa consulate. He also claims that the subject of his military service was discussed during multiple interviews with Canadian immigration officials. But obviously, he did not mention any participation dito sa massacre na ito. Okay? So, nakalasot siya sa Canada. Ito pa ang kakaibang nangyari dito. Nasa Canada na ngayon, 'di ba? Naging citizen na at lahat. Nakapangasawa po siya ng isang American citizen. Tapos, nag-file siya ng spousal sponsorship in America. So, nakakuha rin siya eventually ng kanyang US citizenship. Ito po yan, ano? After obtaining his Canadian citizenship, Mr. Sosa married a US citizen and took steps to acquire US citizenship. Nakuha daw niya yung kanyang American citizenship in September 2008. Okay. Parang alam mo, nakakita tayo ng iba't ibang gaps or loopholes, inefficiency sa sistema, no? I'm wondering if his file dun sa refugee claim to the US ever was mentioned sa kanyang spousal sponsorship process doon sa Amerika. Parang hindi eh. It wasn't until 2 years later, 2010, that the US government, hindi po napaliwanag dito ng maganda, no, discovered yung ginawa po ni Mr. Sosa. Yan. He was charged with criminal immigration fraud in 2010. Tapos, ang nangyari, nasa Canada siya noong mga panahong to na siya ay kinasuhan. Inaresto siya sa Alberta at pinadeport, in-extradite to the US to stand trial. And then years later, ayun na nga, na-convict siya. And he was denaturalized. Okay? Eto na, nung na-denaturalize siya, binalik na naman siya sa Canada. He was deported to Canada. And that is what triggered a review of his file. Nalaman ng Canada yung sitwasyon niya sa US, kaya binuksan muli nila yung kaso nito sa Canada. Yun po ang nangyari. Okay, ito, nakahanap nga ako ng report, guys, ano? Oh, this is from 2014 pa. Oh, Guatemala ex-soldier sentenced to 10 years by a US court. I think before he was sent back to Canada, he had to serve his sentence. Pa 10 years yata, no? I don't know if he was released earlier. But anyway, so he found his way back to Canada and then yun na nga, guys, ano? Doon po, binuksan muli ang kanyang file ng IRCC. And now, after 20 plus years, his citizenship was revoked. So yun lang. What do you guys think about this? You know, ako I agree with the decision, ano? Grabe, horrific yung nangyari dun sa massacre na yun. My only question is, why did it have to take so long for Canada to end up here? Kinailangan pa talaga, no? Parang kumbaga ma-trigger, nabuksan yung file dahil dun sa nangyayari sa US. It shows how some people can get away with just lying to immigration officials. It also puts into question the ability of immigration officers questioning refugee applicants. No? Yun lang naman ang mga nasa isip ko. I will end this episode here. Again, let me know what you guys think. See you guys in the next one. Bye!